The piercing shriek of splintering wood cut through the serene morning air, echoing like a gunshot in our supposedly peaceful cul-de-sac. My heart seized in my chest. What in God's name was happening? I burst through the front door, my breath catching as the scene unfolded before me like a grotesque, slow-motion nightmare. There she was, Margaret Maggs Thorne, our HOA president, a woman whose name had become synonymous with petty tyranny, wielding a crowbar, systematically, brutally, dismantling the very ramp that granted my sister, Lily, a shred of independence. Lily, in her wheelchair, was frozen on the porch, her small hands clutching the armrests, eyes wide with a mixture of terror and utter disbelief. A low, guttural sob tore from her throat. Oh, the audacity. How dare she? My blood ran cold, then boiled. What are you doing? I roared, my voice raw, a primal sound I barely recognized. Maggs, without missing a beat, straightened her perfectly pressed blazer, her icy gaze sweeping over me with disdain. Property violation. Mr. Jensen. Article 4. Subsection B. No permanent structural additions without prior board approval. This eyesore was erected without so much as a whisper. Her tone was dripping with self-satisfaction, a sickeningly sweet venom. My hands balled into fists, trembling. This isn't an eyesore, you monster. This is Lily's access. It's her right. I glanced at Lily, who was now quietly weeping, tears tracking paths through the dust on her cheeks. The sight of her shattered calm ignited a fury so intense it made my vision blur. Was this really happening? Was humanity truly capable of such callous disregard? Maggs merely sniffed, a dismissive flick of her wrist. The rules apply to everyone, Mr. Jensen, regardless of personal circumstances. Perhaps a portable ramp could be considered. But this is a permanent blight on the aesthetic uniformity of our community. She gestured grandly to the pristine lawns and identical mailboxes, as if our small, functional ramp was an act of architectural terrorism. The sheer hypocrisy of it all. She hadn't lifted a finger to help us with Lily's mobility issues. Yet she was the first to tear down our solution. I took a deep, shaky breath, trying to quell the earthquake rumbling inside me. This wasn't just about a ramp. This was about dignity. This was about compassion. This was about a complete lack thereof. You won't get away with this, Maggs, I vowed, my voice low and menacing, a stark contrast to my earlier roar. She simply chuckled, a brittle, dry sound that grated on my ears. Oh, but I already have. The following days were a blur of paperwork, frantic phone calls, and the lingering, acrid smell of injustice. Lily retreated into herself. The joy that usually sparkled in her eyes dulled to a dim flicker. She hated leaving the house, hated the stairs, hated the unspoken judgment. Each time I helped her navigate the treacherous steps, a fresh wave of resentment crashed over me. Maggs, meanwhile, seemed to revel in her victory, parading around the neighborhood with a smug, self-righteous air. She even sent us a bill for the damage remediation. A bill for tearing down a medically necessary structure. I wanted to scream. I wanted to smash something. But I had to be strong for Lily. We'll fix this, Lil, I'd whisper, brushing her hair from her face. I promise. We'll make them see. But how? How do you fight a system designed to protect the very people who abuse it? Then came the anonymous email. A single, encrypted message forwarded from an unknown sender, containing a trove of HOA documents, minutes from closed-door meetings, financial reports, architectural review board decisions. My heart hammered as I scrolled through them. Most were mundane, but one caught my eye. A property modification request, dating back 5 years, from none other than Margaret Thorne, for a sunroom, a massive, glass-enclosed addition that clearly violated Article 4. Subsection B, the exact clause she'd cited against us. My breath hitched. This wasn't just hypocrisy. This was selective enforcement, a weaponization of rules for personal gain, and a chilling revelation of her true character. A tiny spark of hope, hot and fierce, ignited within me. Was this the turning point? Could this be the twist we so desperately needed? Who sent this? A sympathetic neighbor? Perhaps. Or someone with a deeper grudge? The email contained only a cryptic message. Look closer. I spent the next week dissecting the documents, cross-referencing dates, bylaws, and permits. The more I dug, the more dirt I uncovered. Mags hadn't just violated a single rule. Her sunroom, it turned out, was built before she even officially applied for it. And the approval was backdated, rubber-stamped by a compliant board member who had since moved away. Furthermore, there were suspicious line items in the HOA budget-inflated maintenance costs, consulting fees to shell companies that led straight back to AP. Oh, box registered under Mags's maiden name. She wasn't just a petty tyrant. She was a thief, embezzling funds from the very community she claimed to serve. The rage I felt was now cold, calculating. This wasn't about a ramp anymore. It was about exposing a criminal. The annual HOA meeting arrived, thick with tension. The community room, usually half empty, was packed. Whispers buzzed through the air like angry wasps. Everyone knew about Lily's ramp, and while few dared to openly defy Mags, a palpable sense of unease hung over the room. Mags, ever the showman, strode to the podium, a triumphant smirk plastered on her face, ready to deliver her annual address. "Welcome, fellow homeowners," she began, her voice falsely sweet, echoing through the small space. "As your dedicated HOA president, I'm proud to report another year of fiscal responsibility and, ahem," my voice, though quiet, cut through her carefully rehearsed opening. Every head snapped towards me. I stood, holding a thick binder, its pages bristling with printed documents. Lily, brave soul that she was, sat beside me, her chin held high. Mags's eyes narrowed, her smile faltering. "Mr. Jensen, do you have a point?" she snapped, irritation seeping into her tone. "Indeed, I do. Ms. Thorne," I replied, my voice gaining strength. "A rather significant one, regarding fiscal responsibility and property violations." I paused, letting the words hang in the air, watching her face tighten. "I believe the community would be very interested in learning about the true history of your sunroom addition. Approved retroactively, I might add, in contravention of Article 4, Subsection B." A gasp rippled through the room. Mags's face went pale, a sickly green creeping under her perfectly applied makeup. "Preposterous," she shrieked, her usual composure cracking like thin ice. "Slander. You have no proof." "Oh, but I did." I projected the documents onto the screen. One by one, the original blueprint with its date, the backdated approval signed by a now-defunct board member, the email exchanges I'd managed to recover from a disgruntled former HOA secretary who had finally decided to speak up. The crowd murmured, a rising tide of disbelief and anger. And then, I continued, my voice steady. "There's the matter of these consulting fees, thousands of dollars, funneled to a company that conveniently shares an address with your P.O. Box. Ms. Thorne." I projected the financial statements, highlighting the suspicious transactions. The room erupted. Questions, shouts, cries of outrage filled the air. Mags's carefully constructed facade crumbled. Her eyes darted around the room. Desperate. Cornered. "This is a conspiracy. A smear campaign," she stammered. But her voice lacked its usual conviction. The weight of her lies, the sheer volume of evidence, pressed down on her. Members of the community, long silenced by her iron fist, now found their voices. One neighbor, a quiet elderly woman named Mrs. Henderson, stood up, her voice trembling with indignation. She tried to fine me for my rose bushes being too tall last month, all while her own monstrosity was going up. Another shouted, my roof repair permit was denied for months because it didn't match the aesthetic. My roof was leaking. The dam had burst. The confrontation escalated quickly. Mags tried to shut down the meeting, citing disruptive behavior. But no one was listening. The current board members, caught completely off guard by the depth of her deception, looked utterly mortified. They began to distance themselves, some even joining the chorus of condemnation. One, a young man named David, who had always seemed intimidated by Mags, stood up. I suspected something was off, he confessed, his voice barely audible. She always pushed through approvals without proper discussion. I didn't have the courage to speak up. He looked directly at Lily, then at me. Mr. Jensen, thank you. You've opened our eyes. Mags, seeing her entire kingdom collapse around her, let out a frustrated cry, grabbed her purse, and stormed out, the slamming door reverberating through the stunned silence she left behind. The roar of the crowd turned into a collective sigh of relief, then a murmur of new possibilities. The aftermath was swift and decisive. The HOA board immediately launched a full investigation, fueled by the evidence I presented and the sudden outpouring of suppressed grievances from other homeowners. Within weeks, Mags was formally removed from her position. Legal action was initiated to recover the embezzled funds, and a forensic audit was launched. The new interim board, comprised of homeowners genuinely committed to community welfare, reached out to us immediately. They not only approved the ramp, but offered to cover the costs of its reinstallation, along with a sincere apology for Lily's distress and the HOA's previous inaction. Lily, for the first time in weeks, truly smiled. It wasn't just a polite curve of the lips. It was a radiant, soul-deep smile that reached her eyes, a testament to her resilient spirit. The new ramp was built in record time, gleaming under the afternoon sun, a symbol of newfound community spirit and justice served. Neighbors stopped by, offering help, bringing flowers, expressing their regret for not speaking up sooner. The oppressive cloud that had hung over our cul-de-sac lifted, replaced by a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose. Lily rolled up and down the ramp with a newfound freedom, her laughter echoing, a sweet melody of triumph. She even started joining neighborhood walks, engaging with people, her confidence blossoming. The whole experience, though painful, had somehow brought us closer, not just as a family, but as a community. It taught us that silence, in the face of injustice, is complicity. It taught us the power of speaking truth to power, even when fear whispers otherwise. What do you think? Was Lily's dignity worth fighting for, even if it meant exposing uncomfortable truths about our community's leadership? Is it always right to stand up, even when the odds seem stacked against you? Or are some battles better left unfought?